Thanks, Scott, for being here. We
Happy to
are
be here.
excited to be chatting with you and to learn more about SurfThing and share it with our audience. Um, I'm wondering if we can start by just telling us a little bit about SurfThing. How did SurfThing start? What was the beginning?
Um, yeah, it's kind of an interesting story. Way back, it was about 2001 ish, right around there. Greg and Karen, the owners of SurfThing, had this idea, and this was the dawn of Wi-Fi, way back when. They had the idea that because Wi-Fi was becoming more and more um, consistent and like had regulations around it at that point, that they wanted to put little kiosks or little laptops or little things in bars and coffee shops all across, at least it started in Minnesota. But it these were things that you could surf the web on, hence the reason for a surf thing.
Oh my goodness. I never would have guessed that story in a million years.
Yeah. So it goes back to the dawn of Wi-Fi, and these are
Wow.
things that
So
you could surf
cool.
the web on when that was a phase or a phrase that I guess that you would use.
Yeah.
And so we or
Yeah.
Greg had these little laptops, and they had developed or set the GPO group policy in those computers to really only do what you could or you wanted them to do. Um, for instance, you didn't maybe want people to go to specific websites or to open up different programs or to get into the control panel of the computer, which people could then have free reign of the computer. So they were locked down in a sense where people could just, do their thing and check their email and all this stuff, right? But, have some regulations on it, but they also sold advertising on them. That was the revenue maker. Yeah, and so you might be thinking, well, how the heck do you go
Yep.
from that to where we are today a little bit, like in the golf realm, the golf industry? Well, it's just so happened that around that time, it was a couple of years into it, one of the IT people from Golf Galaxy had gone into one of those bars or coffee shops, whatever it was, and tried to hack it, tried to get into it, tried to do whatever they could to get around in it. And when they couldn't, they called up and talked to Greg and asked if this type of technology, this type of thing, could be made into kiosks for the stores. And so that was right about the time that they had started their online kind of store shopping platform.
E-commerce.
And we ended up putting them in a couple stores initially. And because some stores didn't have the inventory that other stores, those customers were able to order and get the things delivered right from the store. So it was an instant revenue
Amazing.
source for things that could be sold, and it exploded from there. And then the kiosks went all over nationwide, like all of these Golf Galaxy stores. Um, so that's how we got into kind of the golf realm, but that's not where it kind of even took off, because these were like for apparel and for clubs and for whatever. Like these were things that you would order and buy, but they quickly realized that that same technology could be used in the hitting bays, and being able to lock those computers so that people weren't doing stupid things on the computers or touching them and getting out of the programs.
Hmm.
And so it just naturally transitioned from us going from kiosk, like, things that you're going to buy off of, over to a full GPO setup where specific programs could be opened on their network. It was a hidden network. Nobody else could, log into it and try to hack it at that point. It was a hidden network. And yeah, like so it went through all of the Golf Galaxy stores. We essentially did this to every one of them. Dick's Sporting Goods bought Golf Galaxy, and then so Dick's Sporting Goods obviously put it on all of theirs. Kiosks have now kind of went away, like from the
Yeah.
stores. They went a different route and different way of buying things, even in stores online. But that's fine because all of the bays now um, are completely SurfThing computers. That was the starting point. So we have all of Dick's Sporting Goods, all of Golf Galaxy, and all of PGA's Tour Superstores. They also
That's
uh,
huge.
came
Oh.
into it. So those are our three main clients from, quite a few years ago, kind of the dawn of, like I said, the dawn of internet, Wi-Fi, but then also like golf simulation. That was really the kind of the start of that. They didn't have tons of bays in some of those stores. They only had like maybe one or two, and expanded from there. Obviously, those stores have boomed across the country, and lots of different locations have, closed and opened up bigger ones, or adding new stores. So that is our managed service provider side of SurfThing. We physically build those computers, we manage them, and service those stores. So
How many are
anything
there?
there's oh a few hundred of
Yeah.
Dick's Sporting Goods, and then PGA is kind of, they have a few less, but they have more bays. Like so, it's kind of
Mm.
relevant. There's probably more computers out there really for PGA stores, just because they have more bay. They have, like, some stores have 13 bays, where
Yeah.
a Dick's Sporting Goods maybe has one or two bays.
Yeah.
So I think there's close to 3,000-ish, 3,500 computers out there right now that we manage every single day.
Wow.
Um, and that's growing. We have new stores that are opening up throughout the year.
How
So
long have you been with Surfing?
I have been with SurfThing now just over 6 years. July was my anniversary year. So
Congrats.
yeah, and
Um,
it started off really much differently than my position now. When I first started, there was only Greg and Karen, Chris, Lester, and myself. There were five people running
whoa.
all of that for across the country, right? So all of the support, all the phone calls, all the building of computers, all of the things. It was five people. Um,
And how many are there now?
there are 13.
So
Still
you've
a
almost
lot.
tripled.
Yep. But
Wow.
we have learned very early on to do lots with few people. There's a lot of things that we do. A lot of people wear extremely like tons of hats. Being able to just
Hmm.
be versatile and be able to pick things up and be that mindset is kind of a backbone of literally almost everybody that's here. Being able to do multiple things and be able to adapt. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, it started off, like I said, I was doing only just service work, because this whole other side of SurfThing, like the consumer side, and like the stuff that we're building computers for other people, that didn't exist, at least initially, and that only really came about of the consumer side, the B2C side, during COVID, or just before COVID,
Yeah.
really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
That's when Jeremiah started.
yep. Yeah, when that shift came, when people couldn't go out and do their things that they wanted to do, but people were really passionate about golf, and there's a lot of people that do that. Yes, you could probably go out and hit balls in the summertime, but COVID happened right in the dead of wintertime.
Mhm.
That's when it started. So people got a little antsy when it came to golf, and they wanted to do something indoors to still golf. And so that, again, that's where things kind of took off. And we realized, SurfThing realized, we build these computers already for like the retail side, the B2B. What's stopping us from doing that entire thing for the consumers and be able to build a high quality machine that people can enjoy in their house for quite a while.
Right.
And the reason why I mentioned that and I kind of expressed that a little bit is because these same computers that we're building now for consumers are the same computer builds that we put into the retail stores.
Mm.
Those stores, and this is part of our contract, is those stores cannot be down for over 24 hours. Each day that those are down, it's roughly about $5,000 a bay in lost revenue that they're
Wow.
losing. So
Wow.
if you think of like, a regular, just a typical computer, you might have to go buy another one. It might take you a few days, or if you have an issue, right, you're sending it off and you're a week out and then getting it back. So our contract and what we do for those stores is we will get you back up and running in 24 hours.
Wow.
Um, we will ship you out, overnight you a computer, overnight you a launch monitor, overnight you a cable, whatever it takes. We will do our very best to get you back up and running in 24 hours. So those same computers, like I was saying, are very robust because those
Yeah.
stores cannot be down.
Yeah.
We don't want to have to worry about um, warranty claims, warranty calls, warranty, because that's immediately $300-$400 out of our pocket if you have a warranty thing. And that's part of doing business, and we understand that, but that's why we build what we build for those reasons. The consumer is always number one, our support is always number one, but we want you to never have to worry about it. And
You
that's
do it right to start with, there's
correct.
less work. There's so much that you just said that I would like to unpack, and I hope I remember it all.
Yeah, well, I'm here all day.
Um, so I know, like you and I know where you are. It's where I grew up, and I know
Yep,
it's a little tiny town.
yep,
And it's like you've talked about some large partnerships that you have, but you have many more
yeah.
big partnerships. How, how do you do all of that from where you're
Uh,
at? And you say you're going to ship it out within 24 hours. I'm thinking about the area that you're in and like how quickly can you get to FedEx or UPS?
Yeah, and so that's a great question, and it's honestly an important one for us in logistics wise,
Yeah.
because we don't really build computers and just have them sit on a shelf. Every computer is built
Yep.
to order,
Mm.
with the exception of maybe if a company wants to
Yeah.
pre-purchase a few and just have them on stock, have them there in case something would go wrong. I mean, PGA and Dick's Sporting Goods, we do that a little bit, but it's really only we only have like 3, 4 maybe at a time that are sitting here at any given time, and that can we don't just build that every day.
You don't
Uh,
need more than that because they are very reliable, the
right, exactly,
computers.
exactly. So like it's not like a quick turnaround would be. Yes, we absolutely 100% could build in the morning, image, and ship it out during the day. It has happened many, 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 many times. Um,
Blows my mind.
so, I mean, we're very efficient with what we have. Our
Mhm.
systems in place are very efficient, and I, give kudos to the entire staff, right? I mean, we've built a process, and that process is still being refined, and it's still going through little iterations as we continue to grow. But we're very streamlined in how we do things, so that does make things a little bit easier, I guess. But we do have a standing pickup every single day for FedEx, UPS,
Yeah.
both ground and overnight. Every single
At
day
the
they
end of
come
the
here.
day.
Yeah, 3:30. That's when
Hmm.
they have a 3 o'clock to 3:30. That's when they arrive. So we really don't have like all day. We have from 8 o'clock until maybe 2:30 to really get something in there. So even if it comes in at like noon, that's a push, but we can still get it done, right? We can still
Wow.
build a computer in about an hour and get it imaged. And imaging on some computers take a little longer because there's different software on there, depending on the software, because we always send that stuff out pre-installed, pre-activated with their account.
One of the things that I love, that our customers love, one of the things is that the software is loaded into the computer
Right.
when they get it. That's such a huge thing because
Yeah.
there are many people who love to play golf and want to play golf in their home, but that doesn't mean that they're as tech savvy
Right.
as needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and just to kind of piggyback on that, Denise, I mean, it is our how would I would put this? It is our want, I guess, is the easiest to say that the out of box experience for all of our customers, whether it's retailer, consumer, whatever, is to be absolutely seamless and as less touch that you have to do, the better.
Hmm.
We would love for you, it's depending on the software and some of the hardware stuff, you kind of have to plug it in, right? If there's some
right.
launch bars, you physically have to do it to finish the setup. But there are other ones that you don't have to do anything with the hardware. It's all on the software, and all you have to do is just plug in your launch monitor at that point in time. And that's what our out of box experience we want, is for you to literally open up, plug it in, hitting balls in 15 minutes, and enjoying your game of golf. So.
That's awesome. I also love the fact that if a customer received a product and did call you about something, you're going to be like, oh yeah, we were just working on that.
Yep.
Versus like, let me sort through my mind when that was built and who did it. And you're just
Yep.
like, oh yeah, we just did that.
Yep.
Here's your answer. That's
Yep.
like, that's amazing.
The knowledge that our staff have on not only just one launch monitor, not all, almost all of them. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that we really haven't seen or dove in and set up. But the knowledge that our team has, it makes it even more valuable,
Yes.
because we not only extremely know the computer,
Hmm.
that we know that computer in and out. We can tech support that computer, but we also have the ability, because just the nature of it, we know the software. We do testing on the software to well, for quite a few reasons we do testing on it, but I'll get into that in a second. But we know the file structure and where things go, and if say you need to delete a file or delete a folder that's maybe having a bug in it, we know about that stuff. And honestly, we have meetings, we have contacts and meetings with some of the big launch monitor companies because they kind of rely on us, for some of that, for some of their external IT, because we are so detailed in everything that we do, and we're very knowledgeable.
Mm.
They lean on us a little bit for some of that feedback, i.e., like TrackMan,
I
and
love it.
Foresight, for those two specific reasons, because they are in the retail stores.
Right.
And so
Right.
we have meetings. We have scheduled meetings with TrackMan and Foresight to
Mhm.
give them that feedback, which is amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. The part that I was also talking about was like the software testing, and that goes into back to the hardware and why we do what we do and why we build what we build. Um, for yes, for being super like stable in everything, but it's for the customer's experience. You might not know, and as far as like being techie or not, the regular golfer most likely is not super techie.
Right.
Um, they don't necessarily know the difference between a Core Ultra 5 or a Core Ultra
Exactly.
7 or a 5070, a 5070 Ti, a 5080. Like all of these different video cards and the wordings that I just, said to you might be completely foreign. Um,
For sure.
and that's why we do our testing, and we're actually working on it right now with the brand new lineup of the SG3, which just rolled out here, I don't know, a couple months ago now. um, and just to make sure that we have all that documented. We want to be the de facto company that tells you, here's the actual information of what you can expect when you're playing this software or using this hardware. How does this interact with the computer? So all of that is very important to us and why we build what we build.
You have a level of expertise that's just above and beyond. And you're working
Yep.
with the computer, you're working with the software, and you're working with the launch monitors, you
Yep.
know? So that's one of the things that we like about being partnered with SurfThing is prior to working with SurfThing, it's just, and what a lot of people will do is just buy a computer
Hmm.
that's a home computer, and they don't it's not, it's like speaking different languages.
Sure.
It's they're not partnered.
Yeah. Well,
And
and there are, just not to cut you off there, Denise, but there are specific even settings that we will enable and change
Mm.
for golf, because it's not just a gaming computer. Like yes, it is a gaming computer. Yes, it has a high-powered video card, but there are very specific things that settings to boost experience or boost performance, things that we
it's
uh,
important.
yeah, that are very important. And these are all kind of behind the scenes things.
Right.
Nobody that buys just a regular gaming computer would have any idea on some of them. But we obviously know for performance wise what that hardware needs.
Cool.
You know what the customer needs more than the customer knows.
Yes, 100%. For a lot of people. I mean, not everybody. There are some people that are very knowledgeable or have maybe some of that background. But for the majority, yeah,
Right.
I mean, they're relying on us as being an expert, as being a computer manufacturer that is very niche in the golf market.
Yeah.
That's very specific. So.
You've
Awesome.
mentioned 4 or 5 partnerships. Are there any others that you would like to share?
Yeah, like we just not too long ago, I've been working on nurturing some of these relationships for a while now. Um, we are just rolled out, actually, just this past week. We just rolled out with our good friends, and I think even your good friends as well, over at Carl's Place.
Yeah,
Um,
we were just talking to him a
yeah,
couple hours
so
ago.
Carl's Place just added 3 of our computers on a laptop onto their website, and so I think they're very much looking forward to a technology partner that has the same values that we have, and
Mm.
their values. When we were having the conversations, when I was reaching out, we were kind of going back and forth. Was our support staff is always number one. And so is theirs too. They always want to make sure that their support people are knowledgeable. And so it very much aligned with ours. And yeah, and they're in Wisconsin, we're in Minnesota. So we got the old upper Midwest thing going for us too. Um, but just the ability to have somebody else in the industry that knows golf, knows the launch monitors, knows the industry, knows like simulators and sizes, and can also be able to pick up the phone when you call,
Mhm.
Yeah,
because that's a huge thing. I
communication.
mean, a
Hmm.
huge thing. We we do our very best, and obviously there are busy parts of the day, but that's why we have the amount of service people on a phone that we do. The majority of our 13 people are technically service people that could be there on the phones, and myself included, right? Yes, I do sales, and yes, I'm the director of sales, but I pick up the phone if it's ringing and everybody else is on the phone. I'm picking up the phone, and I'm answering those phone calls, and I'm going through the same thing of a tech support than the guys that are in that role. Um, you know,
I hate to interrupt, but what
yeah,
I will say is not only do you pick up the phone, but you listen and you don't hurry. You
oh yeah,
you
you're absolutely
you're
right.
it's quality time while you're on that phone with you.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. I do appreciate that. That's very important that we are listening to the customer and the needs and the questions. And so we can understand what that is or what is going on so to better direct where the solution might be. But also knowing clearly how to proceed after that. Maybe we know right
Yeah.
off the bat, there might be an error that comes up. I don't even need to remote into the computer to do that. I already know what the issue could be, and we could fix it right there, or send something out, or get something out the door. So listening is 100% communication. We always pick up the phone if we 100% can. Otherwise, you're leaving a voicemail and we're calling you back, and literally right after we're off the phone with the prior customer. So we take pride in that. That's really big on our side, and Carl's Place does share that same value. So that's
Um,
our newest one.
your level of the standards and integrity that you have, and as well as Carl's Place. And I just think of the people who work at both of these organizations, all of us as the salt of the earth.
Mm,
You're there for the people. You've got a high standard of expectation.
hmm Yeah, very
Yeah.
much so. Yeah.
I
So
mean, it's why I'm here, right? I don't play golf. I have my kid would love me to have an interest in golf simulators, so it's coming. But I have no interest in this industry, but I know Denise is that kind of person. So I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
These must be good people. If Denise
Right.
is in, I'm in. And what you're sharing is like Denise said, so similar to what Carl's Place was just sharing with us. It's like just working with people who share your values is good
Yep.
work. And
Yep.
that's what I hear from all of you. It's
well,
fabulous.
it's because I know that um, you're going to help us look good when we sell one of your computers. It's just
Right.
going to happen,
Yep. Yeah.
you know?
It is 100%. I mean, our reputation is your reputation, right?
Exactly.
If you look
Mm,
good, if you have the service, if you have the support that you need, that's where we shine then at that point, because you're back up and running, your customer is moving forward, they're happy, they got whatever
mm.
it was, and now you're more than happy to keep be having that partnership with us, because what goes around comes around.
Hmm.
Yeah. I,
Acknowledging that shared reputation is really
it's so huge.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so huge.
Mhm.
Um, I interrupted you. I know there's other partnerships that you would.
Th- there are some exciting ones that again I've been nurturing those for a couple of years. Second biggest one, I guess. I mean, as far as newest, I suppose it would be Unicore.
Mhm.
So all of our computers, not all of them, maybe three of them, are on Unicore's website, and so they will be bundling with their launch monitors and their stuff as well. And so yeah, we're building computers for them. That's been going absolutely amazing. Shout out to Unicore for that, and the communication was easy. They just
God.
um, we're not putting any other software other than the launcher on it, just because Unicore launch monitors can be used with other software. So they took a different route where we just build the computer, put the launcher on it, make sure it's all updated and the settings are all set, and we drop ship it off to their customer.
And they do the rest.
And they do the rest. Yep. I mean, whether or not that customer wants to pair with another software, like GS Pro, E6, whatever, all these other softwares that Unicore can work with, that's kind of on their
Or
own,
just use Unicore
or just
software.
Unicore, right? Or just use Unicore, right? Using Vue,
Mhm.
or Game Day now, right? Game
Right.
Day is huge. So I would, I think that whole cooperation kind of partnership between us is absolutely. I mean, I don't really ever have to talk to necessarily anybody from Unicore. We haven't had any computer issues, period. Nobody's had an issue with a computer that they need to reach out to us at all.
Hmm.
So, and same thing goes with the third partner that we signed on to, and that's all of TrueGolf.
Mhm.
TrueGolf is buying all of our computers now as well and pairing it with their bundling with their simulators and that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, it's really a lot of fun to have those three partners um, and be able to work with them and be able to maybe bounce ideas off each other and
Hmm.
look at hardware in the future, right? It's not just for right now, but it's also an outlook of what your software. We do testing, right, for like TrueGolf, for instance, um, Apex, which is a newer software versus E6 Connect.
Yep.
Um, Doing the software testing for them has really been um, interesting and eye-opening on both sides.
And are
Um,
you able to help them improve their software?
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
We're giving them
Mhm.
feedback. We're giving them, frames per second on this setting, on this video card, on all of the different iterations of builds that we do. Here's your expectation of what you're going to receive from this build, this model.
That's huge.
So it's only building on what they already, they obviously do testing internally, but having just another set of eyes to go and install that stuff and go through the testing that we do might be something that they don't do. They don't test on some of that stuff that we tested on. So giving that extra feedback is just another layer of the partnership that we have, and it's been amazing.
Cool.
Wow. Well, so in addition, in what the things that we like, the Green Pro likes so much, in addition to that you put the software right on the computer and it's sends out, it's ready to go.
Mhm.
We love the 2-year warranty.
Yep,
It's
standard.
the interesting thing is even though it's twice as much as what we've accustomed to having it prior to SurfThing,
Yep,
we don't use it.
yep,
I think she told me the other day, like, I think we used it once,
yep.
maybe twice. And even then, it was fast and easy versus like a
Yep.
different warranty process, which is a
Because
hassle and an
in the past,
overwhelm.
yeah, in the past it would take a month at least. And, it was a name brand computer, but it
Sure.
wasn't designed. There weren't, it took a while to find you to get computers that were designed for the golf sim industry.
Mm.
And then the other thing is that if you have to send it back, you take care of the shipping,
Yeah.
which that's $100 at least that
Yep.
people don't have to think about.
Yep. The biggest thing there, I mean, when we're talking about like warranties or just shipping things back, is if you don't have the box, which we do want you to keep the box, put the box, the computer box, put it in your attic, put it someplace out of the way that yes, it's a kind of a bigger box, but keep the box because it has great foam in it. It's a double wall box.
Right.
We get boxes very specifically, not the kind of the cheap ones. We get double wall. So when it's going through shipping, they're really not the easiest on boxes, shipping
Yeah, we
companies.
know.
Like Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we do buy the stuff that makes sure that, it's going to arrive in the same condition that when it left here. We do our very best with that. And that goes into the foam, obviously, like the box I said. But if you don't have it for whatever reason and you need to send the computer back to us, we're going to ship you an empty box with the foam in it that you can put then the computer in it, and it'll have the return label in
I
it
didn't
to
even
ship
know
it back
that.
to us. Yeah,
Wow.
because it's we don't want, maybe it's just a hard drive that for whatever reason had failed. Few and far between, but the hard drives can fail, and
Hmm.
everything else can be completely fine. We don't want you to ship it back in something that is not adequately wrapped, and then now we
Right.
have hardware issues like casing getting broke and that kind of stuff. So
Right.
it's in our best interest to do that, for the safety of everything that's being shipped. So
Wow. Wow. Well, that's why we work with you.
among other things, I'm sure,
I
but
know, but I sure am happy that we do. And I'm grateful for all that that we can rely on you, that our standards and your standards meet with each other. I know, the thing with, and you kind of talked about it yourself, but one of the things I like about Jeremiah is that, and just in the time that I've been with him, there's so much that has changed in 5, 6 years, and
yep,
who we worked with, when I first started almost 5 years ago to now it's such a difference. Um, but what I like to tell people is that we went through all the riffraff to get to where we are now. And when you talk to Jeremiah, he might say, well, boom, boom, boom. It's just so clear to him. And he's just saying, you want SurfThing, you want this, you want that. Carl's, it's just, we just narrow it down to
mm-hmm.
what is going to be good for our customer,
Sure,
because we've gone through the bad relationships, we've partnerships, we've worked with the companies that don't have your expertise, knowledge, and standards,
sure.
um, to get to you. So now that we are here in our partnership, it just feels good to be able to serve our customers the way we want to.
Yeah, and I will be the absolute first to admit, um, are we the cheapest computer? No, but will we be able to give you the best product that you can probably imagine, and the service and the knowledge, and stand by it, like all
The
of these things.
longevity, yeah.
Yeah, those
Longevity, that's it.
those things, you have to factor into it.
I
Um,
mean, if you're
it,
buying a computer every 2, 3 years,
yeah, you've
that's
already lost
expensive.
money then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and the reason why I kind of go back on the hardware and the knowledge of the computer is we are to the point now where we have had parts physically manufactured for us, physical computer components, um, actually made for us, labeled for us,
Customized.
customized. I have a couple here, that I
Mhm.
can kind of share with you
Okay.
a little bit,
Yeah.
if you're okay.
That's a
So
Please.
fascinating process to work with someone in that kind of manufacturing.
yeah, it's been a long time kind of coming.
Wow.
It was always our want to really be able to define the computer and hone how the performance really is, so that it does set us apart a little bit, in that case. I guess the first and foremost one, the one that is, well, these two things right here, I guess I'll hold them up. Um, is that backwards or is that forwards?
No, that's
That's good.
good. Yeah.
Okay. So this is
Air cooler.
the air cooler
I
on
love your
the
logo.
Yeah, the 5702, the TI, those kind of medium range computers.
Mm-hmm.
This is the air cooler in it. Now you'll notice a couple things. There's this fan, and then
Yeah.
there's one back here.
Yeah.
So there's and then this big black thing here in the middle, that
Uh-huh.
is the radiator, and it's a
What?
good couple inches thick for the radiator. And
Wow.
so what that does is it allows um, air to come in through this side, go through the radiator, through the fins, and cool it down, just like
Wow.
radiator for your car,
Yeah.
and then
Um,
be like pushed out, essentially sucked out, um, the
yeah.
back of it, and then on the back side of this, like over here, then is the
Uh-huh.
back of the case, and there's a
Yeah.
fan there as well. So it's literally being sucked through
Wow.
the computer for airflow. And the design of our computer and our cases really, because we want to have our cases not this big, huge box that is kind of obnoxious. We build in what they call like mid-tier, ATX cards, um, and so we build that, but we want to make sure that they have enough airflow so that we have reliable parts that don't burn up. And so this portion here, got these designed. These fan blades are pitched just so much so that it does pull lots of airflow through it. So
What
these
changed
are
for
important.
you as a company once you got that piece settled into place?
Um, it actually helped a lot with CPUs not having issues with like over temperature wise.
Yeah.
Um, Current generation, like, because we're in technically 15th gen
Wow.
I Intel series, but like 13, even like 12, 13, 14, those chipsets were very hot, very
Mm.
hot. They put out a lot of heat, and if you did not disperse that heat enough or adequately, then you have overheating problems or issues. Um, that's why we always put on a pretty good size fan in all of ours, even from prior generations.
How does it sound?
These are silent.
Really?
We This is the reason why we went after these. These fans are silent.
Wow.
You will not hear these.
It makes me think of a central air system. Like you have your own air conditioning system.
Yeah, very very much so. I mean, inside that case, it is cool in there. I mean, we're talking 38 to 45 degrees Celsius as far as like the chip in there. And that if that's the case, like that's really actually almost icicles, right? And comparing it to
Wow.
it's cold, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Wow.
I
in
wish
these
my MacBook was silent.
right, right. There's one thing in here on like the bearings on these and why they're silent. They're called hydro bearings, and so they kind of float around, not on water, like it's not on water,
Yeah.
but they float around in
As
there
if.
as if they're in water. So they're very, very, very quiet.
So they're in a box with your logo on it. Do you sell them?
No, these only go into our components,
Okay.
into our computers. So these are
Okay.
components that we build our computers with. So this is it.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's one of them. The other being the flip side of this, and this box isn't as interesting, but it is still pretty cool. I'll hold this one up. You can kind of see it there maybe a
Okay.
little bit.
Yep.
Just see
There we go.
us.
Do it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
So it's a liquid cooler. It's in our 5802. It's a
Okay.
water cooler. It's a water
What?
cooler. So this was air, right? This was an air cooler. This is a water cooler. And so on this goes on the higher end computer, goes on like the
Hmm.
Ultra Core Ultra 7, just because of it's higher performance. It does
Hmm.
require a little bit more cooling. It is a little bit warmer of a chip.
Mm-hmm.
So we to maintain performance, we put water cooling on because then it has a pump that goes right over the top of the chip that circulates. It's kind of like antifreeze. It has alcohol in it. It's not just water, but it's called a
Yeah.
water cooler. It's a liquid, but it goes up into
Wow.
these giant fans that you probably can't even see that, but they're right there, maybe right there.
Yep, I
Oh
see.
yeah.
Giant
Yeah.
giant fans. They're 280 millimeter fans, so they're about this big. There's
Okay.
two of them on the top of the computer. So instead of pushing the air out the back,
Yeah.
we exhaust it out the top.
Hmm.
So in this case, like your GPU is underneath your
Mm-hmm.
like your graphics card, and then that pushes air out, like kind of through the top and through the like, kind of sides and back. So then all the hot air rises. Yes, it can go out the back because still a fan there, but it also gets sucked right out the top. So hot air rises and you keeps everything internally nice and cool, while
Um,
it circulates water around that radiator.
that's amazing. Who's the best customer or what's the best environment for that
For
computer?
this use case,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, really anybody that two things, I guess, that want to live in a pretty warm climate that need, I don't know, like yeah, Arizona, California, like some of those warmer climates, Texas, but also anybody that they're going to put these into a cabinet, and don't necessarily have
Oh yeah.
adequate airflow. I would 100% recommend
Yeah.
having adequate airflow, 100%, but this will help. Like this
Yeah.
will help cool that down a little bit more, um, to have that water cooling.
Hmm.
So anywhere, and like I said, anybody the warmer climate, these are really great to have, but not necessarily needed because this is pushing a lot of air. Like I said, there's two fans there plus the one in the
Yeah.
back. There's a lot of air that gets moving through that at a silent rate. But water cooling is very nice. And then, like I said, anybody in a cabinet, all of these computers that we're putting in PGA stores, that we're putting in cabinets, and the cabinets get kind of warm a little bit sometimes. So they use all water coolers on theirs. So.
That's fantastic.
Well, I got one more, like I said, because it's a big thing for us and what we had manufactured for us specifically. And you can't I can't stress this enough when it comes to video and video quality and the experience that you have when you're golfing, because
Well, that's
there's really only two things. There's really only two things that make or break your experience when golfing in a simulator.
awesome. Yeah.
One is the computer, two is the projector.
Yeah.
Right? Those are only two things that, I mean, yes, the launch monitor is there, but you really could use any launch monitor depending on your budget, depending on your preference, what your expectations are. But there's two things that give you the experience of
Right.
what golf is: computer and projector. And depending on your like level of projector, right? If you're using 4K, if you're wanting to go that high or want to use that for other things, a cable. And it's not just a cable. These are 8K cables. And we have these manufactured because these are not only just an HDMI, um, but these are optical, um, fiber
Oh,
optic, if you will.
wow.
So these are fiber optic. If you can kind of see that, maybe right
Nice. Yep.
there. They're
Yep.
USB kind of, or the three, right? They're blue, but they also have, come on, focus. They also have SurfThing on
I
them.
see it.
It's
Yeah.
right there.
Yep.
But these are directional. These are directional, meaning this side is like the source, and this side goes into the display. But this cable here, you wouldn't really find a lot of these cables because this is 30 meters. This is a very long HDMI cable. Now,
Right.
regular copper cables, I wouldn't recommend going anything over 25 feet
We
because
have,
you have degradation of
yeah.
signal and your bandwidth. So regular, just run-of-the-mill, right, HDMI cables, that they don't last if you're as far as quality of your image, if it's over 25 feet. Yes, you can get away. Yes, you probably be fine with maybe even a 30 footer, but that's really pushing the limits of what the cable can do. Um, because that's just regular copper. These are fiber optic, and as you can see, these are wound up. So like these are again fiber optic inside. Um, they're pretty robust.
Hefty. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can see that.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's one thing that we designed into this that I want to showcase here a little bit, and it's this little piece right there at the end.
Okay.
So you see that hole
Right.
right there? A lot of projectors and computers will have a screw hole next to it.
Yeah.
If you look at that port, now if you're screwing this to your projector, now you don't have to worry about the cable sagging and breaking your HDMI
Yeah.
port
So
from
important.
it's up in your bay or it's in your ceiling. You're running the cables through the wall, through whatever.
Exactly.
It's not going to droop. You can screw it directly to your other end
Such a
device.
simple solution.
We wanted to make sure that we took that in consideration when we had these built, that we
Yeah.
had this mold right here on the top of the head that controls all of the computer kind of chip portion of it.
Hmm.
Make sure that that mold had the ability to put in the screw if you want to use it. And that's
What is the manufacturing process to have an idea for a product that now lands in your hand? I'm
yeah,
sure it's different depending on the product, but
yeah. I mean, it's based on it. It all really starts on feedback, really from our customers, and then we go talk to a lot of our partners in the industry. We have a lot of manufacturing companies, both here in the United States and yes, over in like China and Taiwan and Vietnam. Like those are some of our great partners over there too, that manufacture things for us specifically. That we you just can't they can't be produced here in the States for something that maybe somebody would buy right now. The cost would just be too high, um, for whatever reason.
Right.
But there are a lot of things that we have manufactured for us because there's a need. There's a specific need, and we go to search that out and find a solution for whatever that cause is that needs to get fixed.
You surf thing it.
That's right. Exactly.
you must have
Yep.
products then in the works. I'm not asking you to tell us about them, but
Yep.
like you must kind of always be sort of testing and developing new and better solutions to things.
We are. And we already have our first generation of our touchscreen, 4K 32-inch touchscreens, um, that are different than a lot of the other ones maybe that are out there. Um, and we went through, I think, like 8 iterations
Um,
of like screens that were sent to us from different manufacturers,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a quality level that if it didn't meet this, we were not going through with that order and moving forward as a partner. But we did settle with one they did a great job. The screen for our 4K 32-inch, which is important, 4K and 32-inch, 4K specifically, if people wanted to get a 4K projector. You can't do a 1080p and a 4K projector and think that you're going to duplicate the screens. It will downgrade your 4K projector to a 1080p because you're trying to put two images out at the same resolution. So that's why that 4K is very, very important for a lot of those customers that we have. We have a lot of customers. I mean, the majority of customers now are transitioning to 4K. Um, you know, I'll go with my story here in a little bit, but the days of old of like say maybe you might remember back when 720 was the norm, 720p was the norm, and 1080p like HD, that was the thing.
I do
um
remember that.
like, oh, I gotta have HD, right, 1080p. And then that's transitioned to, well, now 1080p is almost being completely outdated. You don't even hear a
Yep.
720 anymore, really,
No.
for most part. And so now 1080p is becoming that same kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, that's okay, but yeah, it's gonna be gone. And 4K is becoming that standard, and that's why 8K is out there already. Yeah, it's a little bit expensive right now, but it's future proofing ourselves a little bit. So now we're focusing on a lot of 4K things, like this cable, right? It's meant for 8K. It's meant
Yeah.
for that. It has that ability to do that. Um,
So you're ready
so
for growth.
ready for it. We're already on that cutting edge and already doing that research and already doing that testing for that reason. Um, and so, the transition, um, for all of these things, and why we build some of these newer products, right? We have that monitor that we were getting, and they're great, but we're already looking past that a little bit more,
Mm,
into like a 4K that's a little bit lighter, because these monitors are, they're pretty robust, right? we
Mhm.
we had them manufactured for a couple of reasons. They could actually take, well, we had a couple customers that unfortunately had, the ball had kind of bounced off and took a glancing blow off of that monitor, didn't even touch it. They were robust enough to not have a ball shatter the screen, because they're
nice.
they're touch screen, and so it
Yeah.
has a glass overlay, but the manufacturing of them was robust, so that nothing had to be replaced. It was completely fine. Um, but now we're moving to a new generation of monitor, touchscreen 32-inch, or even more, like a higher end, like 55-inch or 50-inch, 40-inch. We're having that conversation, with, another manufacturer that has a brighter screen. So meaning more nits. That's like a kind of a term of how you gauge how brightness the monitor is. So a brighter screen, a better looking. I guess I couldn't say better looking, because it's almost the same. Like it's super clear. It's 4K. The touch response is absolutely very, minuscule delay. Like you can put your finger in the dot is right there next to your finger. So the response time, and having a higher refresh on the screen as itself, instead of just having it stuck at 60 hertz, that's what 4K is, having it being able to go a little higher, having a little bit higher refresh rate.
So you're always
So,
doing two things. You're improving on like what's now standard or
yeah,
older, and
yep,
then thinking about what's coming.
right.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%.
Wow.
We're always trying to innovate that and look forward, look for the next, thing. What's the next best thing that we can do to improve our products, improve our customers' experience, and give more value?
So I
Amazing.
have a final question for you.
Sure.
Next year is SurfThing's 25th anniversary. If we were interviewing Karen and Greg, or if Karen and Greg are just talking to each other, w- w- what are they like, reflecting back on what it was in 2001 and where they're at now and what they're forecasting for the future? How much is their mind blown?
Um,
How tired are they are? I mean, they're incredible entrepreneurs, and such hard workers.
yeah. They have started that transition a little bit out of that role. We've had some internal conversations, and, they are selling their house here in Minnesota. Um,
Oh,
and they already have a house in Florida, so they've already been down there and kind of come up and back and forth. But,
mhm.
they are going to live completely down in Florida.
Well,
Um,
they've earned it.
Yep, 100%. So like that's already been in the works.
Hmm.
They are very much important, right, to the company and to everything that's gone on for the past,
Right.
20 some years. Um, but they are going to lean on us as staff and as leaders to take those reins and then keep going and continue to innovate. Like keep going,
Mm.
keep pushing what they had started off as a little thing in a bar and a coffee shop
That's amazing. In Annandale?
in Annandale.
That's
Yep,
amazing.
yep.
This has
I
been
mean,
so fun.
and the town that their house is in is even half the size of Annandale. at least.
Yeah, I mean, technically they're in their address says South Haven, which is the next town over. I think
Yeah,
it's like they're on the country, right? They're kind of
right.
on one of those borderlines. They're like halfway between Annandale and Clearwater, and Fairhaven and South
Fairhaven.
Haven. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
It's
they're
Cool
it,
they're
entrepreneur
on the main street.
story that you can create something so impactful from rural town.
Yep.
I mean, it
Yep.
sounds
And
like they started in the garage,
they
you know?
did. They 100% they did. They had they moved from Minnetonka out to Annandale and just had a shed. And it was Greg and Karen, obviously, and Chris, who does all of the programming and that kind of stuff, and
He's still there.
Lester. Well, she's our developer, and Lester worked out of that garage for quite some
Wow.
time until we moved into this location that we're here now. So
Wow. Well, I want to thank you not only for this interview, but for the partnership that we have, Green Pro and you. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for taking good care of us, our customers. You just did something special for a customer minutes before we got on this call. I appreciate that.
absolutely,
And please let everybody know there at SurfThing that we appreciate all the hard work that they do, and we're cheering for you.
thank you.
We're,
Yeah,
we're
appreciate
cheering
that.
for you.
It's a uphill climb. Like we're obviously expanding, we're doing very well, but I've determined that as far as being director of sales, I've only just started. So we will make SurfThing a household name, just as it was, or just like any other big name computer out there. We
Wow.
will make SurfThing a brand
Wow.
household name.
I'm really excited that we get to watch.
Yeah, we get to remember this interview.
Yep,
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Scott.
Yeah.
And we'll be in touch soon.
my pleasure. Thanks, ladies.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. You take good care.
Night. Bye now.